calling you a radical. I take for granted that you just don't care. See? So, a lot to talk about here. Real important on the salmon collapse. As of midnight, the mouth of the Columbia emergency closed. It's a catastrophe. They only had 538 yesterday. That horrible catastrophe. So now there's new data out, or, well, print media, which is pathetic. Print media out saying the trend is disturbing. It's odd. It's fucking strange. So we get no media here in the United States. As I said for a long time ago, Kevin Blanch, I am the fucking media. It doesn't matter if we get 6 views or 60,000 or 6 billion. Google total controls view count. If you don't believe that, why don't you look at that fucking tide pool video of mine that's got over 100,000 views. That's probably about the number 100th tide pool. I've got 100 in a nice, beautiful, well put together, walk the entire coast, every tide pool at low tide, Monterey Bay, freaking San Pedro, every Sean's Cove, every single infamous, strong tide pool. I've documented every single fucking one. I'm in a nice, beautiful playlist. What? 600 views, 1,200 views, 1,800 views, 3,400 views. Then this one gets 100,000 views. It's total manipulated. It's total control, but it's all we have. I take for granted that you just don't care. So, China. I get a lot of my stuff from inside China as Mikado, my very close friend, who's heir to the Japanese crown, for real. The picture I put up of the day that Fukushima happened, I went crazy and I showed you. Mikado's there. I went to college with him. Remember our college graduation presents, the #1 school. That's it. So, we'll start talking finance too. Is the most underappreciated activist in the history of, in a long, long time. Kevin D. Blanch. I am so underappreciated. I think about it. I'm like, just keep doing your work, Kevin. Don't worry about the contemporization, everybody turning their back. I ain't gonna quit you. No, I ain't gonna quit you. It's important that I record history at this fucking point. It's really important. So they're reporting that even their so-called treated water, which they only treat 1/1000% of the water that is pushed onto this fucking red sun they created, bringing star power to Earth, is not being cleaned up, full of tritium. Now, tritium's half-life is what, a few days? So I like how Ken Buckafuck Buesler and gang, they'll quote fucking cesium, the short-life cesium, because the half-life is what, 3 years, 7 years? They're not about to quote fucking strontium or fucking iodine. Or how about plutonium? Oh no, half-lives of what? Hundreds of thousands, millions of fucking years? It's coincidence, bro. Don't you know it's the greatest coincidence in human history? Kevin Blanch, son of Cassandra. It's the greatest coincidence in human history. Don't you know? Fukushima happens. Pacific Ocean dies. We have videos of healthy tide pools in 2010, all up and down the fucking coast. I said it's going to create a heat source. The greatest heat source in human history, which I call fuktonium, which is a synergistic effect from pushing agricultural Roundup into the fucking ocean, fucking plastic poisoning pigs, sewer, and everything else, cruise liners dumping into the fucking sea, fuck you and your shiny coffin going in fucking circles, your diesel, fucking everything else, fucking mix it in with some fucking nuclear fallout from Fukushima, Japan, which we don't even know what it is, bringing star power to Earth, which I named Fuktonium. It's going to fucking kill the Pacific Ocean. It's going to create a heat source. It's going to create a fucking bubble over the western United States. It's going to create the greatest fucking drought you've ever seen. It's going to make the Great Salt Lake, which I called the molded grapes of wrath. Play back the tape, Your Honor. You don't think I've been Cassandra-like? 7 years ago today. Short gold at 1900. Fucking 7 years ago in 2 months. Short fucking silver at fucking 45. Buy the Dow at 9,500. Buy Tesla at 33. Fucking 7 years ago right now. Buy fucking Apple at $20. Split adjusted. Play back the tape, Your Honor. But something happened on the way to that fucking place. They threw a fucking American nuclearism fucking flag in my fucking face. They tried to make a sequel out of me. I got a pretty good shot. It's getting as far as my father died. Well, he died of fucking leukemia, nuked to death by the fucking United States Department of Energy, a drafted United States Marine, fucking human lab rat, and murdered. I had a pretty good, I almost got there. Give it 2 months to fucking live. Corporate welfare fucking neighbor of mine right here in Weber County poisoned my property to the point with fucking Roundup, sprayed it so fucking much, all my trees died. My 2 dogs fucking died. Both my neighbors died of leukemia. I almost died. I've got abandoned my property. My grandkids can't even come out there. He fucking gets accused of fucking stealing billions of dollars, drains off the fucking greatest Martian in the fucking world. That's fucking, and he now works for the DNR, which is head of the environment. I mean, up is down, black is fucking white. This is an insane, I mean, this attack on me, fucking... My chest split opened up, fucking open heart surgery. Bill $1.8 million, no public assistance, 0. Fucking, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Oh, I walk alone. It's heartbreaking. It's really fucking heartbreaking. I think about it. I mean, I just keep going. I don't know how I do it, to be honest with you. I really don't know how I do it, you know? I'm fucking heartbroken as fuck on this whole fucking thing. Watch the ecology just fucking collapse. The tide pools are all fucking dead. The salmon numbers. Record returns in 2015 of the Columbia. We don't count dead tide pools, Kevin Blanch does. We don't count dead fucking humans in bone marrow plants. So the CDC comes out again, and their lagging data from 2016 says longevity is headed south. Exactly right on cue, like Kevin Blanch. I said, life expectancy is going to pummel. I mean, we have open heart surgery. I mean, I had my aortic valve replaced. Just 10 years ago, I'd been dead. I mean, we have all these incredible things. Bypass surgery. I know so many fat, bloated out, fucking hamburger-eating pigs around here that should have dropped dead from heart attack that fucking been saved by fucking open heart surgery. You know, we have organ transplants. We have bone marrow. I was in a bone marrow transplant. We have all these things. We have access to incredible fucking organic food. Just go to the markets. It's everywhere. Yeah, but our fucking environment's poisoned. Yet we don't live longer. We're living less. We're living less. I mean, they come right out. You know, they're talking about the cancer. And I like how they're using fucking death certificates. In Utah, they changed the law. So you overdose or you die. I mean, my friend died here just recently. His family put in the fucking OB, died of natural causes at 51. Fuck, my other friend just died 2 weeks ago, the fucking thing. Died of fucking no autopsy at 60. So how can they put in the fucking death certificate on how they died when fucking you don't even do the autopsy anymore? Oh, it's all nobody's business. It's everybody's fucking business so guys like me can count. Oh, but we count salmon. We count what? Because it's a commodity. We got, you know, the Blanche Martin Matrix I've been working on for the fucking post-Fukushima. I've got it up to well over $1.5 million of fish. For real, being spent per fish caught. I mean, people, tens of thousands of people fishing every day, spending incredible sums of money, boats, trailers, fucking incredible fucking trucks to pull them, trips, fucking gear, fucking all over. And they're not catching any fish. One fish per fucking, you know, what do they call that? Fishing events? They call them bites or whatever for fucking thousands of fucking, yet they're still fishing. Fishermen who I'm going fishing. I fucking read Zane Grey. I'm romanticizing. I live in a fairy tale. Fuck reality. Everything's retro. Everything's a museum. Everything's the past. The youngest cultural theme park, it isn't even a cultural theme park in fucking human history, called California. Let's go to PB on the beach when the beaches are toxic as fucking hell. The water's 82 degrees and you're there surfing, you're swimming, you're letting your little kids in it. You're out of your mind. Why do I not move back to San Diego? I fucking grew up right here and in PB when nobody's there. I want to move back, but I don't know what to do. My land's toxic and poisoned here in Weber County. I mean, toxic and poisoned. To the point, I mean, my grandkids, both my neighbors died of leukemia. I mean, I live in the Boonies. There's only a handful of us. Everybody's dying. My trees all fucking died. Both my dogs died of leukemia. I almost died. They've toxicated this. San Diego's using desal plant out of the Pacific Ocean. 10% of all the water. You can't avoid it. You know, you're drinking that fucking, all that beer down in San Diego now. It's become the beer. Where do you think they get the water for it? You know, you shower, you bathe, you fucking eat your food. I mean, you go to the restaurants on fucking Taco Tuesdays. You know, what do you think they use the water to cook that food, to irrigate the crops and fucking whatever? It's come from the, starfish can't live in it. Salmon can't live in it. But you're okay. This is the greatest ecological catastrophe in human fucking history, and no one gives a fuck. I take it for granted that you just don't care. Seeing you. You're so fucking vain you think this fucking video's about you. That's how arrogant me. I hear it all the time, people. Oh, you insulted me. I've never insulted anybody personally on this side. I don't insult person. I'm talking in the aggregate when I talk baby boomers. But you're so vain, you fucking think this song's about you. You went to fucking Delmar and your fucking horse naturally lost. Fucking degenerate America trying to save you from you. Kevin Blanch, the most underappreciated fucking activist maybe in history. Well, that'd be Jesus Christ, huh? Since Jesus, huh? You're all fucking says going to church on a Sunday morning. It's a Sunday morning on the ancient Fukushima burial ground. I got a video of a guy smoking a cigarette, going in his wheelchair on the top of the fucking native burial ground to a Mormon church. I haven't put it up. I will. I got a lot of stuff, you know. Because I'm out in the fucking field, out in the street. That's where we meet. I do the fucking work. I do the fucking work. And if you don't think this genre is powerful and moves people, I want to say this about the fucking activists and not an activist, in San Onofre. It's getting all this fucking attention. That's all my work. That's all my work. Even that fucking video that gets up. Fuck, that's public watchdogs, Peter, myself. We'll go to all those fucking meetings. If I'm not at the meeting, I have a representative there all the time. Every fucking hearing. There's nobody goes. Handful of fucking people. There was nobody at that fucking video. There was 12 people at that fucking hearing when that guy got up and whistle-blowed. Fuck, you think they're going to put that out? No. We got it. We got it. We recorded it. It was just partial little clips. I put it out. Fucking public watchdogs put it out. That's us. That's us. That's our grassroots work. Without us, grassrooters, fuck, nothing gets done. Fuck, it's like sending out and fuck. We get no fucking credit. You know, they get a big fucking funding. Somebody said they got a $100,000 grant the other day. Dunford, I guess, has got some, you know, and I like Dunford's work. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate his fucking work. But fuck me. Fuck me. You know, leave me, hang me out to fucking dry. Fucking split me open, my fucking chest, pour me out. These things inside the scare. When you're crown king, nothing. I have my health, I have my fucking life, and I'll fucking chug on. I'm not gonna fucking fall for this contemporized fucking me fucking bullshit. You know, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna raise my grandchildren. I'm gonna fucking do what I've gotta do. I'm gonna fight for it to the fucking end, and we'll both go down together. The Pacific Ocean and Kevin Blanch and the Ecology will fucking die hand in hand. Fucking Romeo and Juliet, they never felt this fucking way, I bet. Fucking, we'll go down, fucking, I'll go down. I'll go down with the fucking ship. You know, I walked the fucking plank a long time ago when I was a boy. I've never changed. You took the flowers out of your fucking hair and traded in for a shiny fucking debtor's hell coffin and a fucking mortgage. Not me. Not me. I've never changed. I remember my daughters, my beautiful daughters, one time, this girl I was dating a long time ago, she said, well, if you're so, you know, idealistic about your consumption and whatever, you know, at Christmas, and why don't you just make your own gifts? And two of my daughters simultaneously said in symphony, oh, he does. He does. You know, I'm the real thing. And anybody who's met me in the street, I mean, I've been all over, and thousands of people I've influenced, millions of people I've influenced. They'll tell you. Talk to any of them. They say, oh, that fucker's the real thing. Slept on park benches, fucking a sleeping bag with platelet counts of 38, walking the coast of California, dying of cancer. My doctor says I'm the greatest miracle he's ever had in his 40-year career. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you lie to me. I slept in the dead pines, on the cliffs of Gordy, in the fucking park benches of Washington, D.C., fucking on the fucking banks of the Danube in fucking Vienna, fucking on the banks of the fucking river in fucking Prague, fucking in Copenhagen on the hottest fucking day ever recorded, in Hamburg on the hottest day ever recorded, on fucking park benches in fucking Fort Greene. I've slept in Prospect fucking Park, fucking full of cancer, dying, with no fucking money. I was a millionaire when I got sick. My bill was $1.8 million. I mean, at this point, I really don't even know what to fucking do. Well, I do. Just keep going on, you know. Thank you to everybody who supported this historic work. You can't, you know, and I know I violate you. You violated yet, you know, on your fucking Obamacans and your Trumpettes and your right, left, and your fucking fairy tale. You're so vain, you probably think this video's about you. You know? Seeing you, I take for granted that you just don't care. I've always, my whole life, I've had a philosophy. I do not want to change someone else's, alter someone's path. Not a girl, not anything. You know, it's like my grandma says when I hitchhike up the one from La Jolla from PB, Carlsbad, or when I was here on the ancient landscape here on the Great Salt Lake. Kevin, what girl are you hanging around with, whatever? I don't care, whichever one picks me up. Really? So I've never asked a girl to marry me. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in diamond rings. I said for a long time. My mom used to say, when you getting remarried, Kevin? You know, you've lived alone for a long time. I says, when I find a girl who has flowers in her hair that lifts her left leg at the knee when I kiss her and is willing to stomp grapes barefooted. She says, you might as well go fishing for marlin on the Great Salt Lake. They're gone, Kevin, don't you know? I says, yeah. Hopeless romantic. Might as well go fishing on the Great Salt Lake. There is no Great Salt Lake. The Great American Wake. I've been working on it for the Great Salt Lake. Great Salt Lake dead. Everything, I mean, play back the tape. I can't believe how Cassandra-like I've been focused. I've been for 7 years. I mean, everything on fucking cue. I mean, it's freaky, actually. I mean, I think about it because I've read off the intuitive mind because the light it's in me. For the light, it shines in me. Smog and all. You will never take that from me. I take for granted that you just don't care. The fight goes on. I ain't giving up. You all gave up. And if you're so vain, you probably think this video's about you. It's a catastrophe, the greatest ecological collapse in fucking human history. And no one cares. Not in the United States. Oh, I do. Stay tuned.